If you're struggling with Chaturanga, or maybe you're practicing with a bit of a shoulder injury, a really helpful place to spend some time and pay a little bit of attention is high plank. Now, in ashtanga class, the sun salutations and the vinyasas, high plank is a position we pass through, or maybe depending on who you've learned from, it may be that the transition to Chaturanga doesn't pass through high plank at all. But certainly for me, I found it really helpful when I was building my strength for Chaturanga, my technique, to do a bit of extra in high plank just before you start to lower. So what we're going to do is sit on the heels, fold forward and reach as far as you can with the hands. Now the hands are going to be in your Chaturanga position, so they're shoulder width apart, the fingers are spread, and middle finger, maybe first two fingers pointing forward. And we're going to come up onto the hands and the knees. And I want you first of all to check that the shoulders are over the wrists. So just noticing if your tendency is to sit back or maybe even lean forward, making things harder than they need to be. So trying to be right over the wrists there with the shoulders and really push the hands into the floor. It's like you're trying to lift the chest away from the floor, or maybe thinking about taking the back ribs up towards the ceiling. So back ribs between the shoulder blades. I'm not talking about arching the back. We're using the action of pushing down through the hands to take the back ribs closer to the ceiling. From here, I want you to extend one leg, tuck the toes under, and really extend out through that leg. It's like you're trying to straighten it. Imagine the foot was against the wall and you're really pushing the wall away. And now we're going to take the other leg up to join it. So we're going to take the feet hip width apart and both legs are really strong. Imagine the heels, the soles of the feet really pressing into the wall. We're still pushing the hands into the floor, trying to take the chest away from the floor or the back ribs up towards the ceiling. We're trying to push out through the legs, like in Samastitihi when we push down into the floor. And then we're going to draw the lower abdomen up and back towards the spine and draw the tailbone down and under. So we're going to hold all of those actions. The neck's long, just be careful the head's not hanging. So the neck's long, but the chin's back. And then we're going to take the knees to the floor and sit back into pose of a child. So we'll take that one more time and I'll talk through each of those points again. And hopefully in the few breaths that we were holding there, you were actually beginning to feel the strength of the posture. So in your practice at home, it's worth spending an extra couple of breaths here before lowering into Chaturanga, just to find that work rather than skiting through. So reaching out, hands shoulder width apart, fingers spread. Coming up onto the hands and onto the knees, just checking that the shoulders are over the wrists and adjusting if you need to. And we're going to step back, strong legs. So the hands shoulder width apart, pushing the floor away, so lifting the chest or taking the back ribs up towards the ceiling. The legs are really strong, pushing the soles of the feet away. I'm going to draw the navel up and back towards the spine and draw the tailbone down. The neck's long and the chin's back. And we're going to hold here. Hopefully after the first breath or two, beginning to feel the intensity of what we're doing. And we're going to transition to Chaturanga. So I want you to hold all of those intentions. If you're working with the knees off the floor, keep the legs really strong as you bend the elbows and hover before transitioning to upward facing dog. If you're working with the knees on the floor, that's great. But what you need to be careful of is that when you bring the knees to the floor, the hips don't sink. So from this lovely strong high plank position, we're going to tuck the lower abdomen up and draw the tailbone down. And as you bend the knees, trying to keep that action. And then exhale, bend the elbows. Inhale, upward facing dog. Good. And if you're working from the floor, so from high plank, if you're going all the way to the floor, keep pushing the hands into the floor. Take the knees to the floor, bend the elbows. Now keep the lower abdomen drawing up and back and keep pushing into the floor as you lower all the way. So trying to keep all of those actions going even as you lower into your version of Chaturanga. Pushing the hands into the floor, really pushing the floor away, resisting gravity. Drawing the lower abdomen up and back and the tailbone down, stabilising the whole centre of the body. And the legs are really strong, pushing away, even when you bend the knees to bring them to the floor, trying to keep as much of that intention as you can, even with the knees bent. So hopefully that's helpful. Explore it in your own practice. It's obviously a long game, but let me know how you get on. And if you've got any questions, just get in touch with me. Thank you.